Welcome to the Daily Edge. I am so excited to have a dear friend and fellow entrepreneur, Philip Naithram, in the house with us today. We are going to be breaking down his journey through many different industries and through many different parts of his life and how he has found his edge to be successful, which I would guess is going to be his mindfulness and his ability to connect, but we will get him to answer for it. Let's find our edge. Let's find our edge. That always starts with our affirmation. I choose to be fully here in this moment because this moment is all I can truly control. And I am here in this moment with you, Philip. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks, Marc. I appreciate it. I love being in this studio. I just sold everything I owned in Washington, D.C. and moved to Florida, South Florida. And you were the first text I made when I came into town.
And so honored for that. And the only way we even got to there was we originally connected on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right? Just connection request. Hey, what made you want to connect? We started back and forth. We had a virtual coffee. And from there, it has been a journey of not only knowing each other, but I think legitimately, I hate that word legitimately. No fluff here, right? Real conversations. Genuine and transparent conversations about building a business, about transitioning through different parts of life, about performance, and about success. And so I know your backstory. Give everybody a quick Cliff Notes version of how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, Cliff Notes version. So I was a commercial real estate broker up until 2020. So I spent almost 20 years in the commercial real estate industry, real estate development, asset management, and that led into leasing, right? So a nice little progression there. And 2020 rolls around, and I'm leasing the one thing nobody needs anymore, which is office space. Super inconvenient. Be way better if I had something else going on. But, the market that I served was the defense and intel community around the D.C. Beltway, right? So national defense, NatSec, government contractors, and all of the offspring to that. And so I was always curious. So I was raised, right, with a scarcity mindset around money. Right? You don't have enough. You're never going to have enough. You're probably not going to be enough. And only the people that have it, they also don't want you to have it, so they're never going to teach you how to get it. Right?
So many people deal with that too, right? That's not like there are the large majority of people either have a poor relationship with money inherited from their parents or developed one through their own I'm not good enough and insecurities.
And that's where it came to. Like I realized, and actually, if I'm going to overshare a little bit, I had the same relationship with money that I did with love, right? So it's like I was secretly resentful of other people that had it because I wanted it, but I didn't think I can get it. And when they had it, I wanted it, and I was mad at them for having it. So I pretended like I didn't want it, even though I really wanted it. When I did get it, I hoard it because I'm afraid it's going to leave me, or I'm afraid it's going to run away, or I'm not going to have enough. So I try to save it all, and then when it goes away, I self-confirm and say, see, I told you I was right. And even now, you probably don't even know which one I'm talking about.
Right. Well, it's the same, right?
Yeah.
And so let me ask you a question, though. Do those relationships stem from the relationships with yourself?
Yeah.
Right.
They did.
Right.
They do. They do, right? And as that relationship has improved, my relationship with those two things have improved. And a lot of it, look, if it's not one thing, it's your mother. But,
Thanks, Mom.
So I had to do, when people say do the work, right? So part of my story also, I started my life over at age 31, right? I was dragging across bottom for a while. I hit bottom and skidded right across. Cliff Notes, drinking a half a gallon of vodka every day, 2 22-ounce beers every day, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes every day, cutting myself with a little tiny screwdriver, not doing well. Kind of sort of homeless, but not really because I had a Craigslist house to live in. Things were going really well for me until they weren't. I was getting promoted every year. I was doing well at work because I thought I found it.
That's what defined you. Work is what defined you. So as long as that was going well, everything else is good.
Right. People who have a drinking problem they don't have jobs. They don't get promoted.
Right.
They don't do well at work.
Right.
Right. I didn't really have girlfriends. I had hostages. Right. Like, as long as I have you, right, you are the symbol that everything is okay.
And he means that like as an analogy. It doesn't mean like you don't have to call the police on Philip.
Right. I didn't tie him up in the basement. I lived in an apartment anyway. But you know what I mean? I had these symbols of what I thought external validation required in order to prove that I was a good enough person. And I became the social chameleon. I learned how to read body language and things that we call emotional intelligence and cues and understanding verbal and nonverbal cues and what shoulder pops mean. I learned that naturally as a survival technique because I was trying to convince you to like me. And as long as you liked me, that meant one of us did. And that was good enough for me. And I was able to hide that for a very long time. But come back to 2020, I had time on my hand because, no one's doing any transactions.
I want to dive into that for a second because so you were successful in sales. You know that sales is based on likability, right? Like that's an unwritten rule that like in order for people to buy from me or buy me, they have to like me.
Right.
And so, but that can become very toxic when you then take that thought and mean, well, that means everybody has to buy me, therefore everybody has to like me. So you get that chameleon syndrome, which is like the actual opposite of what drives success in sales, which is the confidence to be who you are and find the ones that like you and deal with the no's and the negativity and the rejection that leads you to those. How did you go from, and I'm just going to make you like dive in. How did you go from that unhealthy relationship and that chameleon to where you are now as an entrepreneur and building your own business and taking chances and doing what you're doing now?
It was a process. Like, it took me my whole life to get there. It took me my whole life to be that way. It didn't happen overnight to change. Right. So, I look, the whole path. It's been 11 years of walking a journey. First, I got sober.
Sure.
Right? Solve what's killing you fastest first.
Sure.
Right?
That's really
good. Yeah, and I was using alcohol as my solution. I didn't realize that the problem was me. I thought alcohol was the problem. I was actually really good at alcohol. I was so good at drinking that it ruined my life.
Right.
So world-class champ at drinking. But living life on life's terms and being able to navigate life's challenges, not very good. And so the path of that has been a path of personal development. Spiritual growth has been the biggest part of that. I didn't realize that I had a God-sized hole within me, and what I was really doing with all of that external stuff to try to make you like me was trying to fill that hole. And so I developed my own personal relationship with the power outside of myself that I choose to call God. And the path of building that relationship meant that I had to take hard looks at myself, personal inventory. Where am I being resentful? Where am I being dishonest? Where am I being fearful? Where am I being selfish? What does selfish and self-centered mean? Because I was the type of person to say, all I do is think about what other people think of me. But if you think about what I just said, right?
It's right.
But
you only care that they think good about you.
Right.
It's like, so it's really the most self-centered thing you can do is think about what other people think all the time because you care so much about them liking you.
Yeah, pride and ego is a flip side. It's flip side of the same coin. And they go in two different directions, right? Me saying I'm the worst, I'm the biggest piece of S in the world. That's no different from saying I'm the best person in the world and no one's better than me.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So I go through this process. When we say do the work, I have been doing the work, and probably silently, but like it's been silent retreats. It's been adult child looking at what that actually means and reparenting, right? That little boy and that angry teenager that's trying to protect the little boy, that critical parent, and then that loving parent that all four of us live in here.
So you talk about a lot of therapy and like psychology terms, right? Did you go seek that therapy? Did you go do that therapy? Or is all of this like self-taught, self-learned, self-practiced?
No. I mean, the recovery, I think that seeking God is a individual thing.
Sure.
Like, it's kind of hard to do that. My personal experience has been that I found God and my relationship with God on my own.
Yeah.
It started with me listening to what other people tell me to do.
Right.
And it not working as well as they said it was going to do.
Right.
Actually, therapy was similar. But therapy, no different from like physical therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectic behavioral therapy. She and I did some great work together.
Right.
And then from there, I started studying it on my own. But and it's...
So you got the start. You had the help getting the start. But like I have a gym in my garage.
Right.
I don't need a personal trainer anymore, right? Like I've worked around a lot of personal trainers. I was obviously, as a college football coach, I was around a lot of training programs. Like I don't need somebody else to help me work out anymore. I know the exercises.
Yeah.
Now, am I going to be as in shape as without, a personal trainer? Maybe not, but pretty healthy. So
Yeah.
I could be pretty healthy once I learn the exercises and then start to do those exercises on my own. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of getting that's where you're at now. It's
Exactly.
like,
And if you wanted to train for high rocks, you would go get a trainer.
right, correct.
You would work with. So when I'm ready to make the next step up in like
Yep.
business, I go get a coach.
Yep.
Right. When I'm ready to make the next, like if something has been gnawing at me, but it's livable,
Mhm.
right? Meaning like an internal, like a fear of like, I'm 42, right? So,
Yeah.
and I'm still single with no kids. So there is that part of me that's like, you might need to pack that up, buddy.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
That
like,
real self-awareness.
yeah, like,
that,
you know.
that honest conversation with yourself.
Right, but that also brings in a sense of grief and loss because I wanted to have kids.
Sure.
I wanted, so I'm going to have to square that circle at some point.
Sure.
Is it dragging me down right now? Probably not
Yeah.
as much, right?
Uh-huh.
But doing all of this work, getting back to you to answer your question, doing all of this work actually builds empathy or the ability to see other human emotions in other people. So when you talk about building relationships, right? If we're going to talk about what's my edge,
Yeah.
it actually is. And I didn't think it didn't occur to me until
Yeah.
we started talking, right? Because every part of me wants to be like, well, I know more people in this industry, or it's the industry knowledge and all
Sure.
these things that are my moat. When you try to get,
sure.
you got to have your moat.
Uh-huh.
But what is my edge? The thing that I play at that other people work at, it's that. It's building this relationship. It was a survival technique of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the one thing that I don't have to think about. I know when I walk into any room with any amount of strangers, I'm going to leave knowing more people than I got there with. And it's not going to be draining. It's not going to be exhaustive for me, right? And so
I'm going to ask you a question about that then. Do you feel that that is something that you have innately, but you've been able to do your whole life, and that's just like a God-given or a genetic trait? Or is that something that you've cultivated and worked at your entire life and perfected at this point that now it can really be your edge?
now we're touching on something that I've had to, like, over the last 5 years that I've been studying more human behavior.
Sure.
Right? The difference between behavior and personality,
Mm-hmm.
which leads into what we do for work, right? I sell a software and all these things. We can get into that
Mm-hmm.
later. But it's centered around a workforce intelligence platform based on behavior.
Mm.
And so the difference between that is behavior is calcified when we're 7, 8 years old, right?
Wow.
Everything else are skills, right?
Mhm.
So the answer, did I have a behavioral tendency that was calcified from a young age to be more sociable? Probably. Right?
But then you harnessed all the skill sets around that and sharpened those skill sets to make it your edge.
Yeah. And as a child, I was actually pretty repressed.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, my mother made sure I wasn't smiling for no reason.
Right.
She, I mean, not to pick on my mom, but like a very critical environment that was harsh, that I didn't feel like I could be outgoing and fun and funny around. And as a teenager, I played football, ran track. I did all the things, but I was trying. Honestly, I mean, if we're going to overshare a little bit more, I just wanted her to say you were good enough.
Sure.
She never did. I'm 42. She still don't say that. I was like, but you can't get orange juice from a cow. Like, you can't buy bread from a hardware store.
Yeah.
So she's doing everything she knows how to do, full tilt, loving me with everything she's got.
Yeah.
She just don't have that. And, that's what I
And the
needed.
work you've done allows you to see that and understand that and empathize with it and give grace to it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And yes. And so as an adult, yeah, like now it's like a whole different empathetic eyes, right? And I see that version of her in so many other people that I can give that same grace to them that I do with her and myself. Like,
Yep.
I was just a kid learning. So, but I remember like learning how to, I just said like, but learning how to remove likes and ahs and ums from my speech. Learning how to pause. Learning how to watch people's eyes. When they go side to side, the occipital nerve is connected to the amygdala. That means anxiety or some sort of, I need to ask more questions. Up and to the left, up and to the right, you could say someone's lying, someone's not, but you have to, one way is the logical brain, one way is the creative brain. Either way, they're visualizing something. That's a
Sure.
visual person.
Right.
So when I want to confirm with them, I say, does that look the way you thought it would? Is that what you see yourself doing? Is this the vision you had for your business? It's not, does that sound good? Or how does that feel?
Right.
Audio, visual, and kinesthetic. So I pick up on those things. Those are things that I honed in on and purposely tried and failed until I got good at.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Is there any skill more valuable than the ability to communicate at a high level? Because like I would say, you're an expert communicator, right? Like your business focuses on behaviors and helping people understand behaviors in the workplace to drive performance and to help them grow. But you're an expert communicator. You understand body language. You understand all of these things that have helped you hone the skill sets to be a good communicator, to build relationships. Is there any skill set more valuable than that?
I don't think so. Because, like, even now with AI, right? So we sell that platform, that software platform that we integrate. But we do our own integrations, and I've learned so much tactical stuff about AI. I can build an AI agent right now. But if I can't communicate that's what the business outcome of you using that is, or why you ought to care,
right?
There's no amount of technical stuff that I'm going to be able to tell you that's going to make you want it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I know exactly what you're saying.
You have to, you're like in sales, what are you really doing? You're describing their current state, and then you're describing the pains around that current state. You're giving them an easy to understand path to solve those pains that are in their current state. And then you're telling them what the future state's going to be.
That is relatively unique to that person, because even if it's the same pain point, it might be for different reasons. And if your solution is going to fit the same pain point for a different reason, it's got to sound that way. It can't sound the exact same way that it was for the other pain point. So, all right. So your edge is the ability to connect with somebody, right? And walk away knowing that I know them. They might not know me, right? And because I'm like, to me, you do a really good job of asking questions. You do a really good job of getting somebody else to talk about themselves, which in then turn, you know them, right? They might not actually know you because if you did your job, you're not talking all that often. So how do you then take that as your edge and drive that into performance daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, that's allowed you to propel yourself to today?
For myself.
Yeah.
For myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously for your business, because, your business relies on you, but ultimately, it's your continuous growth. And like you said something to me before we started, you were like, I'm a different person now than I was 6 months ago when I decided to move here. And to me, on my head, I'm like, of course you are, bro, because you're never going to stop growing. You're never going to stop learning. I know that about you, so that's not surprising to me. But like, what's at the foundation of that for you, and how do you use that constant growth to actually help you become successful?
Yeah, I mean, there's something. So I learned this from Tony Robbins. I went to his UPW in 2017 and met Wim Hof. 2017 was another one of those years like now, actually. Something he talks about is constant and never-ending improvement, right? And so, again, going back to that natural desires, I have to keep getting better because I don't know where that came from, actually. I have to keep getting better because I never finished the sentence. I never know why. Yeah. I just know that if I did 225 8 times last week, I got to do it 10 this week or else.
All right. Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Sure.
But it ain't going to happen to me because I'm going to make sure.
Yeah.
Right? And so that part has been in there. When I connecting with some of these people, and I try to I lead the conversation by being open.
Right.
Like I say something.
Yeah, you share something to make somebody feel comfortable and then get that reciprocated.
And then they tell me a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Right.
So, but when it comes to motivating myself, I can tell you I've been my own worst critic. And that is where the work still happens. Because at any given moment in time, depending on, and usually it's an emotional reaction. It has nothing to do with what's going on. I could all right, so let's say we have a follow-up call for a new client. It doesn't go well. I was counting on that, right? It's because you're too fat. You know what? It's because you're too much of this, not enough of that. Well, if you would have done this.
Start beating yourself up immediately.
Yeah, and so I've started to reserve time to do that. I schedule time to complain about myself, and I schedule time to hate myself.
Yeah.
That Saturday morning from 10 to 10:15, we're going to do that. By the time Saturday gets there, I forgot.
Right.
I'm probably doing a cold plunge or doing something I forgot I was supposed to be mad at myself.
Right.
That's been helpful. But then also, just reminding myself that I'm still learning, right? This is part of the process.
Yeah.
Maximum accountability. So it's reverse engineering. All right, what did they actually say no to?
Yeah.
Right? Because they didn't say no to me as a person. They didn't say no to onboarding a new software. They didn't say no to not wanting to do the implementation. They said no to something. And what was that? All right, so that's what we can solve for.
Yeah.
And we could solve for that at my current weight.
Yeah, right, right.
At my current pant size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're able to separate out that self-deprecation to like, okay, this is the actual thing. This is the thing that we can actually work on, and it changes that viewpoint. I wish we could do this for like an hour and a half because there's so much. But from what I'm getting, right, and you said your edge is the ability to connect with others and this ability to forge that bond with somebody and understand what that means. What I'm hearing is that the edge for everybody is, number one, a relentless desire to continue to grow, right? And an unwavering amount of grace for yourself in the process of that continuous work, but also a commitment to doing it. There's like this it's not a balance, right? Because I'm sure it never feels balanced inside for you, but it is like this, you want to always get better and you're always striving to get better, yet you also have this grace for yourself that like, hey, it's okay, right? Like it's okay to fail, it's okay to, but also you got to get up and do it again tomorrow. You got to try again. And like this perfect concoction of having all of that.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about where does that stem from? I think it really does, not to get overly spiritual, but it does come from having a spiritual way of life.
Yep.
Whatever that means to the individual, whatever that means to you, because we're still like on a piece of dirt flying through infinite space going into we don't even know what.
Right. Don't freak me out. My mind never handles that well.
But so like one
that's got like 3 million different kinds of nuclear bombs on it too that could just implode the planet at any moment.
In the yardstick of life, we're talking a millimeter in time.
Right.
Like, it's gonna be okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And like anyone who has got anywhere started from somewhere. Like it's. We always see the highlights. We see people that celebrate the exit of their company and now they're living on a yacht. That person was having a day where they were crying into their
a lot of those days.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I love about this show is I tend to bring on people that have already maybe hit that exit or are on the way to that exit, but they're always talking about like it's hard work, and there was so much that got me here, and there's like I always want to connect that to the people that are listening, or to really for myself too, because it's just a good reminder of like, yeah, you're going to have to sweat every day if you want to stay in shape. Yeah, you're going to have to say no to the donut 6 out of the 7 days a week if you want, yeah, you're going to have to say, hey, quiet your brain because there's a million other things you could be doing, but you also want to be a good dad and you want to be present here for your son. Like there's all those things. So you hit on so many good things in here, like talking about your mindset and talking about AI and talking about leadership and communication. If people want to connect with you, they want to learn more, they want to get in touch with you, they want to hear some of your content, or they want to learn more about anything, where do they find you? What's the best way for people to get to you?
I think LinkedIn, right?
Okay,
Start with LinkedIn. Philip Naithram on LinkedIn. There you'll find links to the website, which is execucom.co. We're launching a new website soon that's going to be better than the one that's there. Better.
Of course,
right?
Always better.
Not best, but better. The podcast, The Jumping Point, which you've been a guest on, and we're going to do an episode there too, so we'll follow up. So I'd say if you want to get to know more about me, check out LinkedIn and then the podcast, The Jumping Point, also on Instagram and everything else.
Thank you so much, Philip.
Yeah.
Remember to like, comment, and share. Put in the comments what your edge is. And if you're an expert communicator, leave some tips. We'll see you next time.